1, 2, 3. Hey!
Do you want to say something?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Youth Ministry Garage, episode 213. Yes, the rumor's true. Matt McGill has been fired. I'm Doug Fields. Katie the Queen Edwards to my left. Josh.
Hey. I wasn't fired.
You
My position was terminated.
No,
you can't. That's the funniest
Kick the bucket.
Yeah, that's right. I love it that people are just
position was
providing
terminated.
great stuff for us to talk through related to Matt being canned. So anyway, how are you guys? It's good to be
Great.
back.
Really good. Things are really good.
good to
I
see you.
am getting to teach.
Look at how
What?
uppity. You're just
I know. I get
positive.
to yeah, there we go. First time I get to preach to our church, so I'm really excited.
What are you
about
preaching on?
that.
Revelation.
Yes, all of it. Actually, I'm
22 chapters.
That's right. Revelation 25. No, I am speaking. The one word is surrender. What does it mean to surrender? So spiritual growth talk and
That's cool.
Cool.
And, you
So
know,
you're bringing a lot of testimonies to help with that?
yes.
All right, welcome to the show. Hey, the last one.
When did start? Funny for two of us.
Yeah, the last one got edited 3 times, right, Seth? So episode 212
I would like
got
to protest
edited
those edits. I don't.
Oh,
3
it did?
times. Yes.
Did you take my advice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that was insensitive.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 10-minute episode.
Here's what we can do. Why don't we show the unedited version at my house on May 19th?
Oh, yes.
That would be really
Let's just recall what
It
we
would
announced
be
last week.
awesome to do clips of edits.
Oh, that's true.
We've only made
We haven't
4
edited that much,
four
and they've
edits.
all been on Matt, haven't
It'd be
they?
rated R.
no. We edited you once.
Did we?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I wish I knew what that was.
Yeah, we do. We edited me.
You should do all the before footage before
4
we start.
times.
Yeah. Well, that's hey, we're gonna go live. That's on the plan. Seth and I met about it today. We're going live.
It's happening.
We just need to get some type of stronger internet here.
Okay.
I have AOL dial-up, and he says that's not
Apparently.
that's not
CompuServe.
that's not strong enough. But here's the
I don't
deal.
know what you're talking about.
On
Just keep laughing.
Saturday, May 18th, Sunday, May 19th.
Yeah, join us.
All 5 of us are going to be hanging with whoever on the garage wants to come.
It's only an extra $19.
You got to sign up for the FAM conference, famconference.com. Then you
Can't
add
even go to the movies for $19.
$19, and
Yeah,
we're going to
there's
hang
okay.
out Saturday at Saddleback.
Yep.
4:30, you can go see Junior High Ministry
high,
with
high
Queen
school.
Katie. 6:30, high school.
Come on
Then we're
in.
going to hang out that night and talk about it. We'll all be there. Sunday, we're going to go to Mariners, check out their student ministry center, and go to their service.
Talk to their
Yep.
former high school pastor. It'd be so great.
Then we're going
Student
to.
ministries pastor.
Oh, sorry.
We were former high school before that.
Yeah.
Former, because
Yeah.
it was terminated.
Oh, Katie can?
Katie.
Katie's had a rough day. That's going to come out in this podcast.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
In the pre-show, which you didn't see.
had a rough day.
Let's go to it. Then what we're going to do after church, we're going to have lunch and hang out together and debrief the Mariners experience. Then we're going to come here over to my house. We're going to try to get however many people are here.
My Mariners experience.
We're gonna try to get as many people as we can in the garage.
garage.
We
Hang out
may
with
need to
us.
open up that
Stadium
third car
seating
garage.
up there.
Yeah, I'm assuming the balcony. Wait,
Yeah.
this is.
I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're not expecting a ton of people. Are we capping it at 50?
50 people.
Okay, we're
Oh.
capping it at 50.
It's gonna be
there you
so
go.
fun. I'm excited.
And
about
then we're going to go inside. We'll have a little dessert, and then done.
Perfect.
What kind of dessert are we going to have?
I don't know. We're actually going to have.
something next level.
Dude, she had.
What?
That's great.
Yep.
I'd like some cake also.
Love.
Okay, so
love her
Seth
cookies. That's
calls me and
awesome.
he says he was talking to.
wife's
Baked goods.
He was talking about the cookies with Nikki since we've talked about him on the show, and he says, you know, we'll promote that Nikki's cookies will be there, and he goes, I think that'll be really funny. And so then I left him a message and I said, you're from Indiana, so that would be funny from in
Let me
Indiana.
tell
but
you why.
Yeah, that doesn't meet the criteria for humor here.
Yeah, we're Christians here.
Cookies are great. Cookies are great. So anyway, it's gonna be a great
And
time.
it'll be funny.
If you want to hang,
Super funny.
we're looking forward to hanging. right?
Yep.
2 days, we're all there.
I'm a happy, positive guy.
We're all there.
Can I bring Ron? Can I invite Ron?
That would be great.
Okay.
That'd be great.
I'm the only reason why I'm coming is because Ron's going to be there.
Yeah, he's super great.
Ron?
He loves that kind of stuff.
Ange won't be there.
Man.
Kathy won't. She's going to be in Fresno.
I'd like to still keep a +1 if maybe you want to invite some
That's what I guess.
friend of some kind, a guest. Yes.
I bet you we get me.
Maybe Ron.
Maybe Ron. You can be
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends with what we got happening.
But
with kids.
here's the deal. The 5 of us are going to be here. Seth, Matt, Katie.
We'll be here.
Josh.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Nikki's cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cookies, cookies.
Can't wait.
It's me great. Reese's Cups ones, please.
Send in your requests.
I'd like some velvet cake chocolate chip.
All right.
Chocolate chip.
All right. There it is. And it's really, really to our podcast crew. I sent out
Absolutely.
one tweet about it, and it said to the podcast crew.
Oh, there you go.
So
You really should grow up with your Twitters.
my name is Aaron Pippin.
Hi, Aaron.
I'm the student ministries pastor at Montgomery Assembly of God
What's your
in
middle name?
Montgomery, Ohio.
Alabama.
I've been planning and discussing with my youth team about starting small groups. I've also been reading PDYM, and I'm in the process of becoming a rewinder.
That's cool.
Nice.
Last night I had a dream that I was having trouble with getting small groups to work in our youth group, and nothing could fix it.
Soon it'll be a reality.
In the dream, I found an episode to help me, but I couldn't get the video to work. I became so distressed and upset that I couldn't hear your advice that it woke me up at 3 a.m.
This is really the best email we've ever had.
Thanks for all you do. God bless you and your ministry.
People are dreaming about the podcast. I cannot
what we
think
do.
of a higher
But I have
mental
dreamt
state
about
of
ministry
being.
scenarios before,
Yeah.
or like woken up in the middle of the night, like, oh my gosh, you know, like those.
Totally.
You know what dream I constantly have? Is speaking
Hair?
failures.
Oh.
No,
like
that's
flashbacks, or
fantasy.
can it be?
I just missed that.
No, I have
just a little bit.
I have
Like bombing on stage.
yeah,
or...
it's usually something to do with bombing on stage. Like I can't find my notes, or people are getting up and leaving, or it's almost always related to that. Something about my notes or people, or
Yep.
I'm in the wrong environment, or
Yeah.
something's going on. That's it, and it's all so real.
Naked? You ever been on stage naked?
No, never
Yeah,
had that
one.
dream.
Never had that dream in there. Just you.
I know.
Just kind
I
of on your
know.
own on this one.
I know. I have these nightmares that I'm gonna get fired. I don't know why, but they just keep cropping up.
You weren't fired.
Anyway,
Position was terminated.
Aaron.
Terminated.
Aaron, thanks for dreaming about the youth ministry garage.
Yeah,
great.
let's give this guy a prize.
Yeah.
That is,
Yeah.
let's alleviate some
Does
of
he
that
want to
stress.
know anything about small groups? or
No, he just says, but he does say, I'm part of the network of youth pastors in the greater Cincinnati area.
Oh, that's great.
And I was recently asked to lead it. So that's great, because here's,
very
if
cool.
you're part of a network, we want to know,
Oh,
because
yeah.
one of these days, we're
We're gonna do
planning
something with
a
that.
youth ministry garage on the road.
He's been tweeting his process through rewinding the episodes. So as he's going through them, he's been
Oh,
tweeting,
that's
like,
fun.
Oh, that's cool. So he's been tweeting his rewinding.
Yep.
Like his favorite moment of the
Yeah,
podcast?
I think we need to send him something, don't you?
Absolutely.
All right, what do you want to send him, Matt?
I'd
We've
like
got.
to
Let's
send him-
let's just pause and say we've got incredible sponsors.
Incredible sponsors. Thank you to
we have
YS
we have
for
a
powering our
primary,
show.
our primary
Yeah.
sponsor, which means they are
They
more.
visit us.
They're more
they're
financially involved than the
Yes.
others.
Yeah, we talk about them a little more, right? Yeah.
I don't know if that's true,
They have a
but
lot of stuff to offer too.
they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
more than
stuff.
the other ones is what you're saying.
The Unconference is coming
Azusa
up.
kinda
They've got
provides a
like
whole education in
different
the
stuff
future.
like
Yeah, I'm actually going to the Unconference in LA tomorrow, so that'll be fun. YS is putting that on. It's
They
gonna
have
be
them
neat.
all over the nation.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
I have a little paper here, buddy.
Good. What are we sending, Matt?
Something from YS. Go.
Yeah,
How about the new PDYM?
he's
He
already
has
got
the
it.
old one. He
He's
just quoted the.
We can give it. You can give it away, Phil.
I like
Yes.
to give someone in your network.
And you
Give
know
it
what's
away,
good
give it
about that?
away.
The one thing that makes me sad is that there's no more taco salad font,
I
which is
know.
really.
It was like such a like
Yep. Yep.
part of our like being raised in youth
Yep.
ministry was taco salad.
Totally.
fun.
Yep.
Are we
You
gonna
know,
rewrite,
Can
are
I?
we gonna
Can we
rewrite
have a
this
copy
thing?
of that?
Huh? Yeah. Yeah.
This.
We're going to
We're gonna
rewrite it. Those of us around this table are going to rewrite it.
do it.
Version
Yeah.
2.0. It's just got a new cover right now.
You're gonna take out the values chapter.
We're gonna go from hardback to paperback,
Oh, I
which
love
already has.
paperback.
Do you love paperback?
It'll go
do.
back to hardback.
It's just a lot
Probably
easier to
written.
scribble
Yeah,
up
As long as we're
and
talking about
mess
baby
with.
back ribs, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, look at the
Cookies in
memories.
here, I'll be all set.
Seriously.
Okay, so we're gonna send him that. This is episode what? 213.
You know what? Looking at this evokes the same memories as looking at my yearbook. I mean, it's just, which I don't really look at, but
Yeah.
it's just great. So many things.
Let's send him this too. So he's got kind of an old and a new. What is this?
Unpacking Scripture.
Unpacking Scripture in Youth Ministry.
Which that's a really thin book. So, really, that's all it takes to unpack Scripture.
You know what? This has got Andrew Root.
For youth ministry.
Andrew Root. I think he teaches at Princeton. I may be wrong. No, he's got his PhD from Princeton.
Princeton.
He's the youth and family minister at Luther Seminary. He's actually written several of these.
Yeah,
Theological
they're just
Journey
long.
through Youth Ministry. So, unlocking Scripture in Youth Ministry.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Here's a couple more. They look very similar.
Oh wow, there's a kind of
there's
a
a
cohesive
theme.
look there.
Like a thing.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
don't know if I go that
Word is
far.
a lamp unto my feet. There's a little bit of a lamp.
That is cool.
A lantern.
All right. This is from
Cross curses a person that hangs from a tree. See the connection there?
Matt.
Somebody really
Let's go.
thought this through.
Let's go. I'm going
Maybe
to
a
think this
Kristen.
through and get you off this podcast.
About
You
time.
keep trying.
All right. My name is Jeremy.
Katie was having a bad day.
My name is Jeremy, and I love your podcast. I'm a
Thank you.
senior. He's from. Where's he from?
Walla Walla, Washington.
Tonawanda.
Tonawanda, New York. I'm a senior in college, about to graduate. I've been applying for youth ministry jobs. I'm trying to prepare myself for possible interviews and learn something of the potential questions I may be asked.
That's a good one.
What kinds of questions have you guys been asked in the hiring process, or were you asked when you were interviewing for jobs? P.S. Sorry you got canned, Matt.
Perfect. Perfect.
Well, Matt, you have the most recent experience.
Yeah.
So what did
I've,
they ask you in the hiring process?
Well, let's do this. Let's pause the show right now.
Oh, wow.
We were just talking about youth specialties and giving away books, and oh my gosh, is
Did
like
we get a visit? I told you they're the best sponsor because they come and visit us.
I know. Way to give it away. Way to give it away.
We already
McGill.
talked
Spoiler
about it.
alert.
We didn't.
Foreshadowing. It's fine.
We talked about it before the show, saying our friend Mark Matlock, ladies and gentlemen. And Chris Davis is here.
Wow. Dude, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, man.
Matt.
Seen you forever.
Stay on your side.
Welcome to the show.
Good to see
Hi,
you.
so good to see you.
Scoot in,
Oh,
scoot in.
sorry.
Matlock, come on. Get over here.
Yeah, let Matt
coming
let
there.
Matt in.
Feels
Yeah.
like to be on the
Getting
sides.
close.
All right.
It's kind of a bookend. We like the.
Okay.
It's like a hamburger. Hey, buddy.
Well, they always say, you know,
like a bookend.
or not they, Jesus, you know, said take the lesser table, the lesser place, and let them put you with the right
Appreciate
hand.
that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, trying to.
We're
live it.
gonna be
Trying to live
really big in heaven right now.
Well, what's happened? You
like
just
a
flew
hamburger.
in.
Literally, man, just landed. Yeah.
We were actually.
caught an earlier flight.
That's
come
great.
later.
We were trying to. Wait for you to
Set.
start the show, but.
Yeah.
She has a small group that she's got to head off to. He's
all right.
got some. So we had to start. We thought
I have
it'd
a
be just
committee
as
I gotta
fun.
go to.
Just as fun for you to show up in the middle
Yeah,
of it. In
that's
the middle
awesome.
Of it. So we are 12 minutes and 38
I
seconds.
literally practically sat in the lavatory to get here early, so
Thank you.
Is that right?
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Here quicker.
it did.
There were no
Yes.
seats.
Oh, 'cause I was supposed to leave later tonight, but when I heard you guys were recording, I'm like, I want to be there. I want to see this.
Got to.
Because he's in town. We were just talking about the unconference.
Yes,
You're going to the
gonna be there
unconference
tomorrow,
I will be there.
Can't wait.
Bringing some guys from your team.
Yeah, it's
there.
gonna be
So
awesome.
you're in town for that.
Yeah.
And let's go.
Let's go. Is there multiple unconferences around the United States?
13 of them, my friend.
Oh, and so is tomorrow the
already
first,
done.
the second,
the 5th.
the 5th. So there's
yeah.
by the time they'll hear this, people can sign up for other ones.
It'll be 2014.
Yeah. yeah.
Sign up for
depending on how
NYU.
quick
Oh, we're quite speedy these days.
It all depends on how far our sponsorship dollars go. Get things going.
Love
It's
it.
already got the biggest chalkboard. What more could you
Yeah,
ask
That's
for?
already pretty sizable.
Well, I could ask for more, but that's okay. That's okay.
Okay, so as the head of youth specialties, why don't you tell us a little bit about the End Conference? What can our team who's listening, what can they learn from the End Conference if they were to come, or make it a priority to be there next year? First of all, it's free, so it's talking their language.
Yeah.
Yearly.
Free
Yeah,
is
it's
amazing.
free, and it even includes lunch. So
wow.
you gotta love that. And it's not a bait and switch type of deal. It's not like a, hey, we get you in there, and it's for an infomercial thing. It's all kind of based on this principle of generosity, where a lot of different organizations have all pitched in to make the tour possible and cover things.
Is that what the principle of generosity is?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Take some notes.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could pay attention to that.
People giving sacrificially.
I don't know what you're
but what's
talking about.
I think the best way to describe it is the way that somebody yesterday we were in Nashville Louisville yesterday, and then Kentucky the day before.
Wow.
And this guy at the end, youth pastor Chris Cummings from the church that hosted, he just said, man, he goes, I'm walking out of here and I don't have like a page of notes, but I feel like I have more, like I've been changed more and more. Cool. And a lot of it's because you're sitting there and you're processing with people their story.
Yeah.
And so it's less about getting like a list of points or ideas from maybe somebody who's sage in youth ministry, but you're working through and wrestling through and interacting, and it shapes you. Cool. Like I can literally say that I'm a different person having gone to these two things.
That's awesome.
And they're all different. Every one of them has been completely different and unique. They all
you really don't know what tomorrow's even going to be like, right?
I have no clue. It's all improvisational.
But they're all facilitated, so you don't have to worry that you're going to show up.
You're not.
It's going to be a gigantic pool of ignorance. It's facilitated.
But if that's all there is in the room, that's all there is. One of the principles.
Was that negative? I thought that was positive.
Yeah, when you said a giant pool of ignorance, I just thought, physician, heal thyself.
That's why I need to show up to this thing. I want to make sure that's not going to happen.
One of the principles of unconference is, man, somebody's been like eating like crackers or something on this.
Hey,
really like Ritz, okay?
But one of the principles is, whatever happens is all that could have happened. And so there's a sense that when we come together, God's going to connect us.
Totally.
We're going to go places we don't know. And so if everybody lives into that moment, it's pretty powerful. Every one of them has been great, but very unique in nature, because basically whoever shows up makes the event what it is.
Awesome.
So it's really,
I'm looking forward to it.
Cool.
But here's the question that we have: are people dreaming about it? Are people dreaming about the unconference?
We just had a question where people are dreaming
Pippin.
about our podcast.
Aaron Pippin
Woke up.
Yeah, he's dreaming
Thinking about
He's
us.
dreaming about the podcast.
Yeah.
wow.
So this guy Jeremy, you're here. Why don't you we'll pull you into the loop?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Here you go.
okay.
Here you go. Right in.
Jeremy, I love how people are signing off. Matt, sorry you got canned. You heard Matt got fired, right?
Oh yeah, he was very
heard something
pastoral
about it.
and like sent me a text saying, "Hey, how you doing? Well, how's the new thing?" And all that stuff. It was really great.
Well, I was concerned about the podcast.
No, that's why you sent your text. No, not true.
So Jeremy is senior in college, about to graduate, and he's applying for youth ministry jobs and wants to know what are questions that he should ask or questions that we have been asked when interviewing for jobs. Fair.
Great question.
That is a great question. I'll start. I would really care about the relational nature of the church. So is it like is there a dictator who's running things and orders come on down from on high and you just execute?
Right.
Or is there relationship, discussion, camaraderie, team? I'm not exactly sure the question that I would ask, but you've got to sniff that out and figure out how you
And
work
try to
best.
experience it maybe beforehand?
Yeah.
Okay, but real quick, you're going beyond his question, which
For
is
sure.
great, because he's saying, "What questions are going to be asked me?" That's actually immaterial. I
Right,
think.
right.
And part of it is you need to look
What
at
kinds of questions have you guys asked in the hiring process?
right, because he wants to know what he's going to get asked, so he can have good answers to give, which is great. But and that's to your point is. Find out what the church is structured like, because the reality is, and this is hard, I think, to get to accept and to believe, especially in the beginning of your life, you are interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that if you can get that through your head, like you want to find a good fit. Or
And just like
end
you
up
will
fired.
misrepresent yourself to them when answering questions, they will misrepresent themselves to you.
It's all a
and
sham, is what we're trying to say.
And that's the second thing. I mean, is
HR people will say the worst part of the hiring process, or the absolute part that put people a lot of stock in, but absolutely has zero real help in determining whether it's a good fit or not, is the interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an HR thing that people talk about all the time.
But I mean, for me, it's a big deal when I'm interviewing someone for them to ask questions, because I want to sense that I want to sense some excitement. I want to sense some, like, you're kind of hungry for what's next in your life. And I think questions are a great way to show people, hey, you can tell a lot about someone by the questions that they ask, and things that they value and stuff. So it gives them a chance to get to know you. But I love when someone is asking questions. I think something that you need to ask for sure is, what are their expectations of you? Just
Absolutely.
what are they hoping to see in the youth ministry? What are their expectations of you, potentially your spouse? You know, just kind of really laying out all different aspects of expectation, because I think that's where there's a lot of miscommunication in the hiring process of, you know, a lot of, hey, we're just super excited to get somebody in here. But once you get in here, there's 18 things we were hoping that you would do. So I think just really trying to explore everybody's expectations, and you being willing to share your own of like what you're expecting of them as leadership. And, you know, I just think that's
you want to feel thoroughly examined when you go in. And if you don't, that tells you that you may not know enough about each other.
Yep.
It's kind of scary. Like I'm a reference for a lot of people that get hired for, and when I'm talking to them about what they're looking for and stuff, a lot of times I'll go, oh, this person doesn't want to go work for them.
It's not,
you know,
who you think.
and it's not that they're bad people or anything like that. It's just, it's not a good fit.
Sure.
And so, you know, I've, you know, called them and said, hey, I don't think you want this position. You know, I kind of may have even ruined it for you.
Kind of sabotaged you a little bit.
but
note to self.
The moral of that story.
Don't let me be your reference. But they all go, but I want a job, and I'm like, but no, you don't want the
This
wrong
job,
job.
yeah.
You really want the right one, because once you get in, it's hard to leave. And
just ask Matt.
Well, everywhere you go,
hard to walk out that door.
everywhere you go, somebody's going to have expectations of what they want you to do. So to be able to identify those, what are your expectations of this job? To lay those out, to be as specific as possible. When they say grow the ministry, what exactly does that mean, grow the ministry? Because you and I might have different ideas of what growing the ministry looks like. So
Amen. But I think part of it, though, too, is
Says the can.
Says the guy can. Is have an agenda of what you want to communicate about yourself, and so that you know I'm this kind of person, and you have 4 or 5 things that you want to say about yourself, and the questions that you get asked matter. Like, you want to answer the questions that are asked, but it's almost more important than the question is your answer, is what you're communicating, is the tone and your personality and your passions and all that stuff, and so have some self-awareness going into it.
Definitely. No, I would say most people always ask what your strengths are and where your areas of weakness are or growth. And I think sometimes when you're asked that the question of strengths, you like get nervous about being too, you know, braggy about yourself. But know what your strengths are, be confident, communicate those. And what are your areas of weakness that you can be confident in communicating? I feel like people trip up on that, like, well, I don't know, you know, and I think everybody's got areas of growth, areas of weakness. Identify what those are, because I think you'll be asked that question.
That's good.
And I say take strength finders before you go into a job interview, because a lot of people have read that, and if you know that language, that can be like you're now speaking a common language about strengths. You know?
Mariner's HR person asked everybody we interviewed
To do strength finders.
Well, what are your strengths? What are your?
It feels like a common enough question.
How about money? When do you talk about money in the process?
First thing.
Well, I think some people, they do save it for the very last thing. Like, once it's all done, then you're like, okay, here's the salary, and it's like a sad, pitiful salary.
Yeah.
And I think talking about money earlier in the process is not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Just the entire, whatever the hiring package is.
Just think
they
it matters.
know. If they're interviewing, they already know, what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So.
And if you get money per conversion.
Amen. Every baptism, $75. I just picked that number.
That's how I got my stereo.
Secret of Saddleback's growth right there.
That's right. Those pastors are baptizing anybody.
Putting my kids through college from the sophomore class.
Amen. No, I just think it
Lord, we
matters.
pray for the blasphemy happening here.
Indulgences.
Good question, Jeremy. Hey, I would also say
some churches.
the last chapter of your first 2 years in youth ministry.
Oh, no. It still has the taco salad font, right?
No, the last
I love that
chapter.
new cover. That is awesome.
The last chapter
Thank you, Seth.
is all about questions to ask.
Yep. When you're going to a new position.
Yeah. I actually wanted to, when I wrote it, I wanted it to be the first chapter in the book because I thought it was an important deal, and the editors moved it to the end, which I actually think is a good thing now, but most people don't read to the end of books, especially my books. So it is the last chapter.
It's not that far. Into this one.
No, that's kind of a skip around book, though. Like, as you deal with things,
I prefer not
you
to
skip around.
call it that.
It's more like an encyclopedia.
You say you just skip over that book? No. I understand.
skip through that.
No,
book, don't
I've
have to
written
really
so
read it?
much training out of that book. It's so great, but I didn't
Yeah.
read all the chapters
Matt's
in
been-
consecutive.
Matt's been ripping it off as his own for years.
Exactly. Oh, physician, heal thyself. Hey, Matlock. Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk youth ministry from your perspective. Okay, you're on the road all the time.
Yeah.
Where's youth ministry headed? And then I'm gonna
Wow,
let you
that's
talk and
deep.
try to let Matt.
Welcome
listen.
to the show.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was my way of saying don't interrupt.
That was he double tapped.
Well, it's a great. Everybody wants to know where it's heading, And
What's your sense?
But my sense is that I think this is probably like maybe one of the most exciting times for youth ministry. Youth ministry's kind of going. The way I would sense maybe the last several years, it's gone through like a bit of midlife crisis. Trying to figure out where it's at and what it's going, everything, and the dust is kind of settling. And I think the thing that I've been seeing is that people are really posturing themselves, saying, "God, what are you doing that's new? What new thing can we do?" And I would say what's been interesting is that all the unconferences I've been to, there are two names that have come up in every one in one or two of the circles that I've been a part of having conversations in, and that's Dave Kinnaman's "You Lost Me" material, where people are really looking at that material and saying, what's going on right now? Why are we losing kids? Not just how many are we losing, but why are they losing? And that's really the beauty of what Kinnaman did there. And then Cara Powell's Sticky Faith material. And
They're not talking more than dodgeball.
More than dodgeball, cha-ching.
it hasn't come up. All right, I'm just saying. Now, granted, I'm not at all of the conversation, so I'm sure
I understand.
over here it's
Yeah,
happening.
totally.
There's a cluster somewhere.
Yeah.
Kind of loud, obnoxious
But
ones. They're totally.
But what I'm sensing is
I was
like,
kind of hoping he would say the names that come up were Jesus. That's right. That's right.
but I'm sensing that there's a lot of hope and that there's a sense of understanding that's starting to happen.
Yeah.
And that people are like going, okay, it's time for some new wineskins. You know what I mean? Like God's pouring new wine into new wineskins, and the old stuff just isn't going to work. Everybody's already stuck hands on
and
it.
I just don't drink wine at all. So
Yeah. So
Yeah.
You're
What does that mean for you? You're in or you're out.
He does eat Taco Bell a lot.
all the time.
what?
Yeah.
So there's just a really cool energy
That's
out there.
silly.
There's just a cool energy out there about what God's doing. I think that these books that you have by Andy Root right here,
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with signing Andy to those books, but when I read them when I came into my position, I thought these are taking us in a new direction and a new conversation in terms of theologically informed youth ministry. And I think that a lot more people are connecting. What do I really believe and know about God and how He moves in the world and in the church? How does that inform what I'm actually doing in youth ministry? And that's pretty exciting stuff.
Cool.
So,
That's good.
Cool. You have a nice voice.
thank you, Kate. I appreciate it.
Like a nice
movie
microphone
trailers.
voice.
You could, yeah, you could totally do illusions with that voice.
Was that real?
Yeah, no, you're gonna have to watch that on video.
Dude, that looks so incredible. If you're not watching the show, you just missed the best
See, here's the
illusion
deal.
ever.
Matlock, he belongs to the Magic Castle. He's like a legit magician.
Illusionist.
And all I ever see,
ID card.
all I
Here
ever
it
see is the
ID
straw
card
up the
right there,
nose.
buddy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big
Happy.
deal.
Thanks for getting us drinks.
Thanks for the vitamin water.
Card carrying.
Vitamin waters are great.
Thanks for opening your home.
Or garage.
That's close.
Kathy's right there. You can't see
You
her.
seen it?
It's Doug's garage.
It was a great illusion. Did you see the new Steve Carroll movie with?
I have not been able to see it yet because
Steve
I've been
Carroll.
serving the church.
Here's what I think.
I haven't been drinking wine, but I have been seeing this.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's super funny.
Oh, I was gonna say let's go see it tonight.
I'm in.
Will you see it
I'd see it
again?
again. Fantastic.
Oh, don't set it up that high.
Unbelievable.
Tell me it's average.
Greatest movie
It's
ever.
so good. It makes every other movie just
Average.
look
Getting panned.
stupid.
Let's just put it that way.
Average.
It's getting panned.
It's
pretty,
average
Panned pretty
laughs.
hard.
pretty hard.
What does panned mean?
But
Critics are like, nah.
People are liking
Criticizing
it.
Average
it. Yeah.
laughs.
Do you not read People
It's a chuckle.
magazine? Picks and pans. It's
No.
like a big, okay.
Okay, here we go. All right, you guys ready to start the show?
Picks and pans.
I'm gonna-
It's getting panned. I learned something new today.
Yeah.
I feel like I get
Welcome
panned a
to the
lot.
point.
Yeah,
Point
that
smokes.
would have helped at Mariners.
That's true. That's
You'd
true.
think I'd be an
The
expert.
self-awareness today is excellent. I'm not gonna read this guy's name, but he is from the great state of Ohio. At my previous church, where I served as a youth/associate pastor for 5.5 years, 2.5 years with one lead pastor, and 2 years with a different one, which would be 4.5, and maybe there's a year in between of no one.
You know what? We're not setting up a chronology here.
He is. And I'm
A corral.
Chronology?
Chronology.
Cool. Here we go.
The pastor who hired me, Frank, was extremely hostile and verbally abusive.
boy.
Heal thyself.
He had multiple affairs before my arrival,
Oh, God.
but they came to light during my time there.
Yeah.
Can you tell us when it's a serious
Yeah.
email? I mean, come
This
on.
is a terrible email.
Can
We're
you
just
just
swerving
actually
all
be
over the road.
engaged?
I'm
in this
engaged, but we're
and
making
not be thinking
jokes
about your
before
neck.
these
Who's
emails.
we? Who's we?
The two of us and the voices in my head.
Continue.
Okay.
You can see why Matt was fired. I mean, his longest amount of time that he worked with anybody was with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we contract with each other, because otherwise he'd be out.
Yeah,
be
it's
out.
actually kind of a
Suffer
ministry
much.
just to keep him around.
I don't fire friends, so I
There you
glad
go.
that we're friends.
Thank you.
So he had multiple affairs before his arrival. It came to light during his time there. It came no surprise that there had been hidden sins since he was so angry all the time. He had even sent inappropriate emails to my wife and some flowers.
Oh, gosh.
Frank's wife even confessed to my wife that her husband had a crush on her. This was my first
Dear
full-time
goodness.
ministry position. My wife grew up in the church, but not as a pastor's kid like I did. I chalked this up as a battle wound and dusted myself off as best as I could and moved on. My wife, however, has felt violated by Frank, and we have prayed and sought advice and talked through it over and over. I'm still able to see wounds, pain, and reservation in her when dealing with our new church. The Frank situation was 2.5 years ago. I have found peace and closure, but I fear that she is holding this hurt. I'm concerned it will affect her in developing relationships at her new church. We've been there 7 months. What can I do to help her? How can I prove that we're safe now? Is continuing talk about it good or bad? I've lovingly redirected and discouraged dredging up the past. Could really use your prayer and wisdom. Thank you for being a blessing to me already.
Oh, my gosh. That hurts my heart so much.
Wow. No doubt.
Kathy, did you hear that story?
I did.
I was thinking, I bet you would have some great wisdom to that. But there's not enough seats around the table, so.
That's fine.
Matt?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm the alternate anyhow, right?
Well, like I said, self-awareness on a high today. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, this is an incredibly difficult situation, and so the fact that it's been 2.5 years plus 7 months, you know, that this is still coming up, that totally makes sense, and that's okay, and that's not abnormal, and I think you can't beat yourself up over that. Not that you necessarily are. I think 7.5 months is a very short time to get connected into a new community. And so even if everything is happy and good and transitions are positive, coming into a new place, 7 months is that's not enough time to really get connected either. And then the last thing I just got to say is that, you know, it might be worth it to do some kind of counseling, some kind of spiritual mentoring. I mean, maybe it doesn't need to be a licensed psychologist type situation, but if you sense, and your wife has admitted that this is something that what had happened in the past is holding her back, it's worth talking about. Maybe it's not worth talking about with you. I mean, maybe she needs to find somebody else to connect with and get some advice.
Yeah, there's no shame in counseling, and in something like this,
Yeah.
This is like there's a power element involved. So I would almost say you're not looking for probably your typical Christian counselor. You're probably looking for someone who deals with workplace abuse, authority types of things, because that's really what's going on and why it's so. Yeah, it's very serious and very complex. A lot of times things that make sense don't, but it takes a lot of time when you've been wounded this way. So I encourage you to just be comfortable with the fact that you're in this for a while. I mean, as men, we like to go cha-ching, cha-ching, it's a problem, it's not a problem, it's not a problem.
Fix it.
And it's just not that way when we're dealing with these things, and we have to let them work themselves out. But getting somebody who can help is really important. There's no shame in it.
I think it's like that in ministry too. Like in ministry, I feel like I move so much faster than Ron when we work things out quickly during the day and are kind of at a little bit of an accelerated pace of finding closure, and we know how to do that. So there are times where I'm here and he's here in resolving something, or and so I think be okay that she's not at the same place as you, because it might take her a while to get to a place where she feels that same kind of peace and closure, and you might not be on the same page for a while. And I would do some single counseling, have her do some counseling on her own, and then maybe even counseling together to encourage you on how to encourage her, and just give some great kind of constructive stuff for you guys to do as a couple and
being
individually.
frustrated.
Yeah.
If the dude here, if you're frustrated or disappointed, which doesn't sound like you are, but
That frustrated that she's not getting over it.
yeah. You're just going to compound it, and that you don't want to do that.
I would just add a little bit to it and just say, is there anything in the current situation that is making her feel uncomfortable?
Sure.
Is she feeling unsafe again? Does she feel like you're going down the same path or in danger or whatever that is? Is there something now that's a trigger? And I think you got to, it will take time in addition to the things you thought and said. But I think another part of it is you have to make her feel safe. And so you have to protect her and maybe for right now overcompensate even in certain areas to make sure that she is healed and okay. I mean, if we take a step away from this situation, we also have to go, the church in a professional capacity is wounding. And that's just part of the gig. I wish that wasn't true, but it is. So I think we have to constantly be helping each other and caring for each other and really, really love our spouses, especially if they're in ministry alongside of us.
Joe, there was one phrase in there that I'm remembering. I could be remembering wrong. Is the something to the effect of guarantee she's safe now or something like that? And
How can I prove that we are safe now?
Prove that we are safe now. And the way I kind of like the way you said it better than this. I mean, because you can't guarantee safety. You know what I mean? And so I don't think you're necessarily talking about that, but maybe you are. But there is no situation that's proof. At all. And so you can't, if you're shooting too high, that's a false thing to be going for. Yeah. But you do have to protect your wife. You do have to do whatever it takes. And
this may have opened up something in the past that she hasn't even revealed or dealt with, and so there's sensitivity there. But the damage in these things I always find is when we don't validate the feelings of the person who's going through it because we feel like they should be over it.
It's not that big of a deal.
Whatever.
Gosh, it's been 2
years. As men, we do it all the time.
Sure,
so how do you validate?
My wife isn't watching this, and she's going to go, "You're awfully sensitive."
Yeah, because he could be going.
I wish he cared about my needs like you're caring for his.
At least you got an email from him. I worked for him.
I didn't even know the guy. Yeah,
that would be insensitive.
Yeah.
That's an example of what we're talking about.
That's right. Kath, you got any wisdom?
No, I'm glad Katie's there with me.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. Were you just making jokes about this?
I was trying to transition,
just like
not making a joke. No, you gotta love her in the midst of that. She has to be way more important than the ministry. Where my mind was going to was the previous question about questions that you ask when interviewing. Is how could he have sniffed this out potentially that he was hostile and verbally abusive, and he walked into that setting. So.
Yeah, to talk to other people that work there.
Exactly. To find out the character of, we've talked about a relational environment. Seth and I were talking about just kind of this phrase, better together, that has kind of been one that I have lived with for many, many years as I've surrounded myself with people who are way more gifted and talented than me and better better together.
Way to go, self-knowledge.
Well, I didn't say they were at this table. I have a history of that. One to my left
here
and one to my right.
I'm here for it. Self-awareness is really off the charts today.
Air five.
Locked in.
I don't even know where I was.
That was touching.
Asking questions
talking about how
about
you could avoid it.
How could you have sniffed it out?
Yeah.
With your dog being here, that was kind of funny.
I mean, what's always hard about going into a new environment is that there's always disgruntled people
Totally.
that are willing to tell you that they're
Sandbag that
disgruntled.
pastor right away. Sure.
Yeah, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't know how many weeks or days they have left, or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's sometimes hard to know that going in.
to
And
get a
people,
full, honest
and people
picture.
like him, obviously. I mean, he sounds like somebody who tries to be charming, and I know that a lot of the people that do some of these most offensive things, they're very delightful people to be around. And that's why they get into situations like this, is because people want to be around them.
Yeah.
But I think that's good wisdom of asking
So
other
we should
people
be
on the
careful of
team or
words.
other people in the church. Like when I'm interviewing, I'm telling them, hey, interview my team. They'll
Yeah.
tell you what they really think about
Yep.
Yep.
their work schedule or how it looks or how I am as a leader. Like I think that's wise too.
Yeah.
And all the joking aside, I mean, I knew what I was getting into at Mariners. I mean, I'd talked to a bunch of people that were on staff and the culture and all that stuff.
Yeah. But but you didn't ask all the right questions.
I thought I did.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of.
I knew what I was getting into at
Moving
Saddleback, but then
targets.
the people that I went to be with all left our church. Thank you for staying.
I'm like, am I in there somewhere? Because I really love you and I'm still
Well,
here.
I wanted to leave a lot earlier, but I just knew you needed help.
I still do. What are you talking about? I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Hey, Kathy, have you felt any weirdness since Matlock hired me on at YS? Has he made any
Is he
inappropriate?
saying flowers?
Oh, come on. We got to edit that out.
Look at your one shred of sensitivity.
Because it was
I'm
about
feeling
18
kind of red.
Good questions.
All right,
My heart hurts for you.
I
I'm
know
sorry.
that's a rough one. That's a rough one. Hey, Mark, we're gonna wrap up. As talk to us about the future of youth specialties. We don't get to do this very often. You guys have been so gracious to sponsor this show. We talk about YS, every time we're together. But where's YS going? Why should people now listening be thinking about the conferences in the fall?
Yeah, the National Youth
what are
Writers'
you
Convention.
excited about? Why do you support this award-winning show? That type of thing.
award-winning, dream
Almost goes-
inspiring.
Yeah,
I mean, well,
dream inspiring show. That's
when I saw that, I think I was watching your guys' last podcast. You didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, I was just like, this is just too sad for words. You know what I mean? So
Suspense.
what could I do? But
save it from the
yes,
bowels
Yes.
of oblivion.
yes. I mean,
What are you referring to? I'm just totally clueless right now.
The last,
Before we became
last-
the garage.
yeah,
before you get in the
See, 'cause
garage.
I thought Seth saved it by putting it back up.
They were better together.
We are better together.
I heard that.
Better.
Together.
Okay. You're talking about a long time ago, though.
A long time ago. yeah. Like,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Well, YS has been sponsoring the show for how long? A year?
Yeah. So he's talking
Over
about
that.
that.
Are we approaching 2 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I thought he was talking about
right?
something in the last few weeks, and I'm like,
No.
what was the last one to hear?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
wonder.
Those clothing are into it.
Yeah.
Don't bring me to the unconference.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. He brings nothing to the table.
Listen,
I
you'll be
think-
okay. Just listen.
I think where YS, YS is a very large tent. There are a lot of different ideas under the tent. You have to be able to tolerate that and want that, because it's not a homogenous group. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different ideas out there, and that for me stimulates me, and I get into those environments, and I'm like, I like that I hear things that I don't agree with, and and I like things that I find things I'm like, oh wow, I still agree with that. I like that effect of being able to sample and choose all of those things, and I think that with what we put together, and I'm not ready to reveal our theme yet, but our theme is very positive and very forward moving in terms of kind of where we feel God is kind of like leading youth ministry forward. So
Ladies and gentlemen, that's my dog Monty. First time Monty's ever been on the show.
First time.
Not
those
first time?
Early viewers will remember Monty.
Oh,
back in
wow.
offices.
I remember that. Wow.
Yeah.
Monty.
But
Look at you, pulling up trivia
I know,
right there.
Kathy's. busting out a little trivia. Go ahead and take that laptop, babe.
It's mine.
I know. We're better together. All right, here's
Back to the show here.
That's awesome. So the theme is called Forward.
How about this? How about you launch the theme? We're gonna actually get fiber optics pumped into here. We're gonna.
Very close turn.
Is that what it is?
Close.
Yeah, it's called Internet.
Yeah. We're gonna have phone lines. We're gonna mix up the podcast
Jazz
a
it
little
up.
bit.
Yeah.
Maybe
Bigger chalkboards.
Maybe you could. Wow. Maybe you could release the theme.
chalkboards.
You could release the theme live on our.
Oh, that would be
show.
awesome.
That would be
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, that would be a lot.
All right.
Exciting.
How many weeks do we have?
We have probably. What do you think, Chris?
I mean, a couple.
Yeah.
All right. There's
Producer Chris.
Chris Davis.
No
3.
offense.
Yeah. Former producer.
He's
of the show.
producer emeritus.
Better together, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're all better together.
Better
That's good.
together.
All right. Speaking of better together, I want to thank you especially. It's our primary sponsor.
Absolutely.
Our
Thanks,
consistent
guys.
sponsors: Youth Ministry 360, Remedy Live, APU,
Leader
and
Trucks.
Leader Treks. All right.
love
We only
And
gave away one thing in this show.
I know. Well,
we had a special
answered couple
guest.
questions.
Yeah, let's give away more last.
But I have lots of stuff to give away.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's make this fun.
Yeah,
Let's give away the Wait a minute, it's free.
Yeah, it's free already. That's the thing. I'm not going to have anything to give away.
Everybody.
I'm changing the economic engines of everything.
What about this?
Yeah, give away Andy's books.
We've given away.
Just gave it
We
away.
give away. I got a box of those at home. I could give away some.
Oh, buy Mark Matlock. I love it.
Yeah.
Why not now? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, great. A case to who? What?
All right. Let's do this.
Curriculum for everybody
You
in the church.
send in a question. You send in a question at podcast.
Oh, yeah.
You go through the Youth Ministry Garage,
YouthMinistryGarage.com.
send in your question, and you reference Mark
Not
Matlock, Why Not Now resource, and next show, episode 214,
Yep.
we will give, how many of these can we give away?
5.
15. You heard it here.
Is that good? It's 5.
That's
good?
great.
15.
10. Okay, 10.
All right.
That's
10.
kind of next
10.
level. That's forward.
That is.
Okay, all right.
Oh, that's a
And
good
it's not only forward, it's forward and positive.
Forward and positive.
Forward and positive. That's
Forward.
great. Well,
Onward.
once again, we want to say we're sorry that Matt
better
got
together.
fired. Continue adding that to your questions. We appreciate that. That makes my day.
That gets your resource.
your question will be better on the show if it says
Absolutely.
Definitely
a lot of them write in. Mark, sorry Matt got canned. Sorry Matt was fired.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's great.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'll take
I
the
love it.
compassion.
Single tier
Yeah.
running down.
Well, what makes me
take the
feel good about
compassion.
that is that we actually have pastors
That's right.
in the
That's
field, in
That's
the
right.
church doing their stuff, and they're feeling that
Lord
pastoral.
knows we only have one at this
It's
table.
showing their support.
There we go.
All right. Love you guys. See ya. Bye.
Pastors for all.